In the last two lessons, what we've been doing is looking at straight line graphs and interpreting what they're telling us. So today what we'll do is actually generate one of these straight line graphs for ourselves. So 6C, plotting straight lines. So get that into your notes as the heading for today. Alright, so what we'll do is review the Cartesian plane. Remember what that is, X and Y. Okay, a couple of axes there, and how to position and describe points using coordinates. Okay, to understand that a straight line graph is formed using a rule, in this particular case a linear rule, to be able to plot a graph of a rule using the table of values, and finally to be able to use a straight line graph to determine the values of variables. Okay, so let's get stuck into it with a couple of examples. So first of all, these need to go into your notes, and these will be printed for you. Okay, so what you need to do is just make sure that you ask the teacher there for the notes in the plastic pocket, and you'll be able to cut these out and stick these into your notes. Now remember, a point on a number plane has coordinates x, y, and it's always the x first, y second, and I suppose a way to remember that is to consider the alphabet, and x comes before y. And what we do to graph a linear relationship using the rule, we can construct a table of values using a y coordinate for each x coordinate, and I'll explain how that's done. Then we'll do some substitution, plot the points, and then draw a line to complete the graph. And remember, we've done this already. The point of intersection of two lines is the points where the two lines cross each other. So if we've got two lines there, that's where they cross. That's called the point of intersection. Okay, so these will go into your notes. So some examples, and what you'll need to do is write this down, example, and complete the table of values. So put that in there. You can just freehand the table of values. Don't worry about ruling it up. Okay, so what we want to do is plot the graph of this by first completing the table of values. So they're basically telling us these are x values that they want us to put into the rule to produce y values. All right, so when I put 0 in, okay, we're going to say sub x equals 0. Okay, that's the one I'm choosing to do first. So let's put it into the rule. It's y equals 2 times 0 take away 1, which is 0 take away 1, which is -1. So that's the first point. Okay, now let's sub x equal 1. So we'll go y equals 2 times 1, take away 1. So notice that I'm changing x and replacing it with 1. So that's 2 take away 1, which is 1. All right, finally what we'll do is put -1 in. So sub x equal -1. Y equals 2 times -1, take away 1. Now the other thing you can do is just see the pattern for linear is that it's going up by 2, so this should be -3. Let's find out what it is. -2 take away 1, yes, it equals -3. Alrighty, so now what we want to do is plot the graph by first completing the table of values. So once this table of values is complete, really these are 3 separate points. This one here is the coordinate 1, 1. This one here is the coordinate 0, -1. And this one here is the coordinate -1, comma, -3. So what you're going to do in your notes is draw up a Cartesian plane. So I'm going to draw mine here. And let's pop in the points. So we've got 1, 1, so 1, 1, and that's the point there, where this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis, x, y. So when x is 1, y is 1. So these are how we plot a point. All right, when x is 0, y is -1. So when x is 0, which is this point here, y is -1. Now make sure you get your spacing roughly correct. So -1. So there is our second point. And our third point will be this one here, x and y, when x is -1. So here's 1, here will be -1 for x and -3 for y. So again, let's just make sure the spacing is roughly correct. -1 is there and -3 is there. And if we've done this pretty correctly, what should happen is I can draw a line through the 3 points. Okay, you might be a little bit off because you haven't got a grid to do this, but you should be able to get fairly close. And this is the graph of y equals 2x take 1. All right, so just in summary there, what we've done is use the table of values to generate 3 coordinate points. We've plotted each of the points onto what we call the Cartesian plane, and then I've just drawn a line that connects all 3 points. Okay, so this is more of an applied question. Jasmine is organising a school dance. Party on. The venue is chosen and the costs are shown in the table. Okay, so if 0 students go to the dance, the total cost is $500. I presume that's because of decorations or a DJ or whatever it might be. If 100 students go, the total cost is $1,000. 200, $1,500. 300 students, $2,000 are the costs. So what we're going to do is plot a graph of the total cost against the number of students. Use the graph to determine the total cost for 150 students. And how many students could attend the dance if Jasmine has $1,750 to spend? Okay. So what we'll do is draw up our Cartesian plane. Here goes. And we're going to pop our students as x-axis and total cost in dollars as the y-axis. So S versus C. And we'll typically go in this order, X and Y, unless you're advised otherwise. All right, so we've got 0 students, 100, 200, and 300. And the cost is 500, 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000. Okay, so when the number of students is 0, the total cost is $500. That's there. 100 is 1,000, 200 is 1,500, and 300 is 2,000. We can see that we've just got a linear relationship there. All right, so let's join up the dots. Again, they might not join perfectly because you're maybe like me, I've plotted this without a ruler. So yeah, you can see that yeah, it's not quite accurate. Okay, so plot the graph. Done. Use the graph to determine the total cost for 150 students. So here's 150 students in the middle. So what we'll be doing is going up, and where we hit the graph, we go across. And we can see that that's going to be, so the middle of these values here is going to be the middle of these values here. So the total cost for 150 students is going to be $1,250. Okay, so in the middle of 1,000 and 1,500. How many students could attend the dance if Jasmine has $1,750 to spend? So that's in the middle of 2,000 and 1,500. So if we go across and then go down, what we can see is the middle of this one will be the middle of this one, which is 250 students can attend. All right, so there is all we need for that question. And the exercises, don't do those ones. I'll put them up on the Canvas announcement so you'll know which ones to complete to do the work on this. Yeah, good luck with that, guys.